Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So glad to have you with me here this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and I have made it yet again. It's like 3 days in a row. Look at me go, rocking and rolling, doing show after show. And a lot of you asked for this show yesterday, actually, but I had some personal stuff I had to talk to you about yesterday. So I shifted it off one day, and I don't think it matters much because people are talking about it, but it's still happening. Trump is talking about the three things I brought up, which is Greenland, Canada, and the Panama Canal, right? Those are the things that he's been talking about today and yesterday. So it's still good. Like it hasn't gone away. And the part that I wanted to bring up that I guess bothered me was the same thing that keeps happening every single time. Anytime that someone said something like what Trump says, the response from people who don't like Trump is very often, see, look how stupid he is. Look how crazy he is. It's nutty. It's insane. It's stupid. Now, you may disagree with what he wants to do. I do. I don't think we should invade Greenland, right? I don't think that's a good idea. But it doesn't matter whether I think it's a good idea or you think it's a good idea. The dismissiveness, which people haven't learned, if you want to fight Trump, or vote against Trump, or have an argument against Trump, I get it. I do. I understand. But haven't we learned that dismissing him doesn't work? Like that's the thing that doesn't work? And still people are like, just he's crazy, he's nuts, it's stupid, whatever. It's not stupid. It's not crazy. It's not out of nowhere, right? It's not like that. That's not a thing. Everything he's been saying is based on something real. That's all I'm saying. It's based on something real, based on stuff that some people may not get. And there are parts of what he's doing that are actually pretty savvy. And you say, Larry, so is he thinking it? Is his team thinking it? I don't know. But there are parts that are pretty savvy. And I want to cover all of those aspects if I could, right? I do want to talk about all of them. And I'm going to talk about Greenland, I'm going to talk about the Panama Canal and also Canada, all three of those. To be forward, before I even start, do I honestly think that America is going to get these three? No. No. It's no. I don't think America's going to get all three. Could America get one of them? Maybe. It won't be Canada. But is it possible? Maybe. And the point I'll bring up is if anyone could do it, it's Trump because he don't care. He is he's a lame duck president in this regard, meaning that he doesn't run again. So if someone could do it, it's him. But I don't think any of them can be done. But I don't think that's actually is the point. And that's what I'm going to bring up during this. I'm going to show you what I think. I don't think what he's saying or what his team is saying may actually what they actually want. All right. Why am I saying all these things? You know I'm going to give you some cool stuff. You know I am. So since I am, do me a favor, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Do it now. I am trying very hard to get people to do it. You know I am. So every click, every like does matter. Not just that. I have two special requests today. Two, not one. He's at one. Here I got two. One, if you watch me on YouTube, Facebook, or X, not on Rumble. Rumble's fine. Change nothing on Rumble. But if you watch me on YouTube, Facebook, or X, please consider shifting over to Sharpe Way if you watch me on Larry Sharpe. Remember, on all three of those, I have a Larry Sharpe page and I have a Sharpe Way page. I'm going to start probably Friday or Saturday streaming live on the Sharpe Way and then later posting on Larry Sharpe. What will that mean? It means all the chats will be together and I'll be able to also stream on other platforms, like also go on Instagram, Twitch, and stuff like that. Also expand my amount that I can go on and also at the same time keep the chat together. So I'm going to start doing that. But Larry Sharpe will still get it, just not live. Now, if you don't care about my live show and you just like to watch me and the crew talk, no worries whatsoever. Stay on Larry Sharpe. Life is good. But if you want to be part of the live show, you're going to have to start going over towards Sharpe Way starting either Friday or Saturday. So I hope that makes sense for all you guys. I hope that part is clear. Last thing I'm going to ask you, About a month or two ago, I was asking to help out a friend of mine. His fundraiser is now ending. The fundraiser is, of course, for the man, the myth, the legend, Maj Toure. If you could send a couple bucks his way, if you could. The link is right there in the description on both LinkedIn. I'm sorry, on Facebook and on YouTube. He's trying to get people to. He's trying to get to buy his Solutionary Center. That's what he's doing. He's buying the Solutionary Center. He has a match. I'm going to help match also. If you head over to givesendgo.com/solutionary, he will actually be able to create that piece, right? If you can do it. And here is the quick pitch.
There's been an abundance of interesting things, to say the least, over the last couple of years, and I wouldn't change it. When we started with BGM, it was very important to make sure that we linked with people from different cities to make sure that the work got done of firearm safety and training. So we wanted to have Philadelphia be a flagship location where people can come, they know they can learn. We made this center. They want to use the space for free, they can. If someone wants to come learn that class, plumbing, lobotomy, whatever, they get to come take informative classes for free. Now let's show a social and cultural benefit, and then let's do that in a different city. So we used Philadelphia, which was the first Black Lives Matter location, and now the Solutionary Center, that's the HQ, and we would like to see those in all of these top 10 major cities. We've gotten people jobs, literally. People have hit us back and emailed, oh, I secured a job, $40,000, $50,000 a year, and it doesn't even have to just be employment. It's as simple as, hey, I want to take a yoga class. But that's what a community center is supposed to be. Fundraising has been, it's that last 30 minutes of the drive. This last $200,000 has been very, very difficult. Hey, we need 2,000 people, donate 100.
Which ain't much.
There we go. So thank you guys. If you could help out, the link is there. He's a friend of mine. He's trying to create an actual community center in a community where people can learn and support each other for free. That's the point. You can go there and learn or teach a skill set that people in the community need by the community for free. That's why he wants to buy the building so he doesn't worry about paying rent anymore, and maybe even can make some cash on it. So that's the point. If you do that, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. But enough of that. Enough of that. Let me ship off to, if I could, and go right to Super Chats. Thank you so much, Fahim. 1999, I appreciate that tremendously. And Michael is a new member. Thank you, my friend. Membership does matter. I do appreciate it tremendously. All right. The first thing I want to bring up, believe it or not, is Greenland. Why would I bring up Greenland first? Well, what some of you may not know. Maybe some of you know the history behind Greenland. People think, oh, it's crazy. Why the hell would you want to buy Greenland? Greenland is very special for many reasons. Number one, by the way, we already invaded Greenland. We did back in World War II. After we got into the war in 41, 42, we decided we were scared that the Germans would use Greenland, invade Greenland and Iceland, by the way, and use them as bases for their submarines, refueling, U-boats, all that kind of good stuff. So we just took them over. The Danes got invaded by the Germans, and they surrendered in 6 hours. If you're Danish, you probably didn't want to hear that. But yes, they surrendered to the Germans in 6 hours. They surrendered immediately. The Danes owned Greenland back from the Viking days. So, and they still had it for all that time. So we just said, you guys got run over. They're ours now. So we just basically took it. So we took Greenland, we took Iceland, and that helped us also to bring airplanes over, because airplanes, it was very hard for an airplane to fly from America all the way over to Europe at that time. So it was easy to go America, Canada, Greenland, Iceland, England. So we used it for that reason back then. We had invaded it. We had invaded and took it over. After that, we gave it back to Denmark. We said, okay, great. I think it was 46, 47, whatever it was. We gave it back to Denmark. And we actually wrote on a piece of paper somewhere, I forgot what it was, some treaty or something, whatever it was, that Denmark owns Greenland. We did write that. Like, that's written someplace. Trump doesn't seem to care about that piece of paper, but we did write it someplace. I'm sure of that. I remember seeing it somewhere. So we wrote in a piece of paper somewhere that Greenland is now owned by Denmark. Then we kind of walked away, but we said, hey, can we please, if you don't mind, can we please still have bases on Greenland? Okay, why? People talk about Greenland as, well, it's this big thing and it's about minerals and such. And it is about minerals. It is. There's no doubt it is about minerals. That's true. Let me give you a quick piece if I could. This is a map of some of the minerals. That is a thing. And that's important. But it isn't the only thing. If I can hopefully show this to you so you can see, it is actually much deeper than just that. This here is Denmark, is Greenland, if you can see it. And this is a map from, I think it's a Rain Worldview right here. And this shows all the special elements and metals and precious metals that are here. Lots of them all along this area, right? You go, well, that's important, Larry. We would like some of those. We would, that's true. We would like all that. And the most important part is to circle here. This is things like uranium and such. Oh, for like nuclear power and stuff. Yes, we would like that. But there's other things that people don't talk about when it comes to Greenland and why it's so valuable. That and other things. And I say, well, Larry, then if Greenland's so important and wants all these things, why would Denmark ever sell it? Why would they? Here's the odd piece. Denmark, people don't know, is a very small country. And I mean very small. There's more people in New York City than there is in all of Denmark. About 5 million Danes, give or take. About 5 million. That's it. Not that many. They don't have the ability to do what's required to do this. In fact, Greenland's very special. Another case, Greenland that I know of, if someone else knows of another country, I don't know if this exists, is the only colony to become a country and then go, just kidding, can we be a colony again? That actually happened. Greenland said, we don't need to be a colony. Colonialism is bad. We're not Danish. We're done. And the Danes said, okay, we can't afford you anyway. We lose money on you every year. We can't afford to take care of all of the stuff you need to take care of. We don't have the power, the money, the ability to do anything. So bye. And Greenland said, yeah, we're alone. And then they went, this sucks. Dad, can we come back home? I wish I was kidding. They came back and went, can we come back home? Danes said, fine, okay, come back. Your room's still here. And the Danes took Greenland back. However, in the deal, Greenland is actually very autonomous. What does that mean? We can't actually buy Greenland. It's not a thing. Denmark doesn't officially own Greenland. Greenland is actually an autonomous territory-ish thing that they made up. Why? Because they were a country and they said, can we come back? So then they came back, right? So they would have to vote on like a plebiscite and go, we want to be American now. That's how it would have to work for Greenland to actually become American. They would go, we'll become American. And the Danes would go, okay, bye. It was great seeing you. Bye. And then they'd become American. That's how it would actually work. We wouldn't buy it from Denmark. The Greenlanders, as they're called, would have to have a plebiscite and go, okay, we want to be American. And then the American government would go, okay, you can come in either as a state or as a territory. The assumption is we'd follow the Constitution. They come in as a territory first, and then they'd have to apply for statehood. That's the assumption. That's how it would actually work if it were to happen. But that's what the entire hot concept isn't even real. All right, but why do we want them? You think, well, it's because that. Not just that. There's several other things. One is that, but also there's so much land in Greenland. If you remember, see how wide, a lot of land. And only about 50,000 people, 60,000 people in Greenland, in the entire place, right? It's probably about as big as Alaska, right? It's like 50,000 people. And it's like Alaska size, maybe a little bit bigger than Alaska, but it's big. So lots of space and lots of uranium. What can I do there? And it's really cold. So wait a minute. Lots of uranium, lots of open space, really cold. What would go great in Greenland? Oh, some of you know. What would that be? Yes, server farms. By the bazillions. You could make server farms on Greenland like there's no tomorrow. What kind of people would like server farms? Oh, wait, tech bros. They would love server farms, and you could make them like there's no tomorrow. Just literally miles and miles and miles of nuclear-powered server farms with no one to be angry whatsoever because it's just open area and it's cold. Not much AC, just put like a roof on it or something, whatever, right? You'll be fine. So that part people don't realize that literally you could create server farm upon server farm upon server farm. Now, me saying that just gave some people who like Bitcoin, they got really excited. I get that. Makes total sense. You might go, wow, that makes sense. Okay, we should do that. Well, maybe, but wait, there is even more. Greenland is serious. Gene says, what's a server farm? What that means is massive servers to do things like Bitcoin mining, things like that, server farms to keep your data mining, things just like that, where you just need tons of energy and tons of space. And if I have to put that in, say, a place in America somewhere, well, that takes a bazillion years to make. That takes a whole bunch of time. and people are scared because of nuclear power plants. But I could have a server farm that's basically unmanned, right? I've got like a bunch of security there, but it's basically unmanned. I can man it, but I can man it with drones. Literally, I can man it with drones. Who cares if there happens to be a nuclear incident? So nobody gets killed. So that's the server farm concept. But there's more. You would say, Larry, that's already a lot. It is a lot. But I got to show you something else. This is actually another picture of Greenland. And this shows, yes, oil, natural gas and oil. And if you can see over here, this is Greenland. And this area here is where there's tons of it all around Greenland. Tons of it, like lots of it. Wow. And there's some up here by Alaska and also by Canada. But where's a whole lot of it? By Russia, which goes to the next piece. Not only is it just about getting all that oil and natural gas, which of course we'd love to have, of course we would, and also nuclear power, and also all those minerals and such. You might go, why in the hell would Denmark give this up? Because Denmark can't physically do it. They already gave it up once. Like they don't, again, 5 million Danes. That's all there is. There's more people in New York City. They're not a big country at all. So all of that too on top of it. Yes. But there's another piece of this on top of it. It is, all of them trying to do this is another piece, which is ice. Now, two parts to that. One, there's still a whole lot of ice by the Arctic Circle. And two, the ice is melting. What does that mean? That means right now, if you want the stuff, you got to be able to break ice. You might go, well, is that hard? Yeah, it's pretty hard. It is pretty hard. And who is the best at breaking ice? You would say, I bet it's America or Canada. It is not. It is Russia. Russia is the only country in the world that has nuclear-powered icebreakers. Yes. You would have thought we would have because we have nuclear-powered carriers. No. We didn't think ice breaking was that important. Our icebreakers are diesel-powered. I know. Boy, is that stupid. But they are. They're diesel-powered. We have diesel-powered icebreakers. Now, you might go, well, that's still not bad. It isn't bad. But I got to go now. I got to go refuel or I got to carry even more fuel. Russians don't. They take the icebreaker out there. It's nuclear-powered. It's there forever. I mean, they just stay out as long as they want to. They have nuclear-powered icebreakers. Yeah. The Chinese don't yet. But they might. They don't have many at all. The Chinese don't have many icebreakers at all. We have a lot of icebreakers. We do. We have a decent amount of icebreakers. They're all diesel. Literally, they have nuclear-powered icebreakers. Now, why would that matter? Two reasons. Number one, to go in there and get that, you got to break the ice right now, right? But there's something else. If you break the ice well, what else happens? You can travel. If you look here, right through here, America to East Asia. This is actually about it, and you can tell how it looks. This space traveling from America or from Western Europe by Iceland across this area into East Asia is about 30% shorter than doing the Suez Canal. Yeah. 30% shorter than the Suez Canal. So what do you avoid? The Suez Canal, which also means you avoid what else? The Gulf of Aden. What's happening right now in the Gulf of Aden? The Houthis are blowing shit up. Right now as we speak, that's happening right now. You go through this area, you don't care about the Houthis in that regard. Doesn't matter to you. Let them blow stuff up. You don't care. You're not sending your ships that way. You're going this way. All of a sudden now you're going this way. It's faster and cheaper and no Houthis. Win, win, win. Everybody wins in this one. The Russians know that. They've been knowing that for a while because they've been watching the ice melt. And they're like, whoa, the ice is melting. Plus we have nuclear-powered icebreakers. We could literally make a pass here and we could charge with our icebreakers, right? Instead of the Panama Canal, which we'll get to. But do you see already how they're connected? Do you see how already they're already connected? So now I can go across that too. Great. So now I get a northwest passage if I want to go via Canada. Here's the Canada piece. Or I get another one going right across North Pole. And you might go, but Larry, that's Russian land, not across North Pole. How do I know that? Because it's international water except for 200 miles off the coast. What do you see a lot of coast over there? Greenland. Yes, there's a whole lot of coast there. And that coast is all going to be run by Greenland. Unless we had it, in which case it'd be American coast. And obviously America would have that entire coastline. You want to go across that coastline? That's American waters now. So I understand. So I want you to understand that it's not just Trump being, I'm crazy and I want Greenland. No. There's a bunch. And I'm not even done. There's even more. If you look at this, if we have physical bases here, several things are good also when it comes to military. Of course, way closer to Russia. New York to Moscow, give or take 5,000 miles, give or take. Greenland to Moscow, remember where you are? 2,500. Half. Halfway there. So it is halfway there. So that's good. Robert says, it's NATO coast right now. Yeah, but hasn't some guy named Trump been talking about getting rid of NATO? Stopping NATO? There we go. So you see all the value, right? Right. Particularly, what if Russia was now who has supersonic missiles? So we need to know as fast as possible, as soon as possible, when the missiles get launched. Having a lot of stuff there in Greenland would help. Being able to shoot stuff down, Greenland would help. So that would help. Not just that, we're going to counterattack a whole lot faster. They get there 2,400 miles. Then if it's like Wyoming, it's probably 6,000, 7,000 miles. I don't know how long it is from Wyoming, but I'm sure further, probably 6,000, 7,000 miles from Wyoming or wherever our missiles may or may not be, right? So yeah, there's even more reason for him to care about Greenland. There are many reasons to care about Greenland. And I'm going to go one step further on why he would care about Greenland. Because the Chinese care. They do. The Chinese have been trying their damnedest to get the Greenlanders to agree to have Chinese companies there to take up all this oil and this gas and these minerals. They've been trying. And there's been some success, but not great. The Chinese have not done a great job of it. Russians go other all the time and they end up doing nothing. Danes have been afraid of Russians since like 1947. They just have. They're like, nope, we don't like Russia. We're scared of them. And when the Russians go into their water, the Danes go, do nothing. I'm not joking. So the Russians decide we're going to bring their subs all off the coast of Greenland. The Russians do whatever they want, and the Danes say squat. They say nothing. They go, well, it's not really our deal. They're Greenlanders, and they get to do what they want. They're autonomous. They do nothing. This is why America has been unhappy, because America can't control those waters. So yes, Robert, they are NATO waters and NATO coast, but the Danes don't do anything. They do nothing. So even though you are correct, Robert, when you say it's NATO waters, if you don't do anything, it doesn't matter. And the Danes have not wanted to mess with Russians for like 50 years. They were like, we got occupied by the Germans. We're like done with this occupied thing. We don't want this anymore. This was not a good thing. We're done. They don't want that ever anymore. So that's changed already. So all of those are reasons why Trump would want Greenland, to stop the Germans, where my head is, to stop Russians, to stop Chinese, to get those resources, to have server farms, to have a Northwest Passage, to have access to all of that oil off the coast, to have access to the coast. There are many reasons. Greenland is very valuable. In fact, we offered the Danes back when they owned Denmark. Now, why do they not own it anymore? I said it already, but let me just be clear. They did at one point own Denmark, and we offered them $100 million. And they said, no, we don't want to do that. And the reason why they said it, why did they say it? They didn't want to piss off the Russians. That was the reason. That's still true today. However, now legally, the Danes don't own Greenland. Why? Because Greenland was that weird thing where they physically left and came back. Once they left, they were no longer owned by Denmark. When they came back, they're kind of autonomous. That's why you can't really buy Greenland. Now, to be forward, the Trump people may not actually have known that when he said it. I'm not being silly, but most people don't follow crap like I do like that. They don't do that. I've been talking about this for a while. I told you guys about Greenland like months ago because I happen to know that already. But anyway, most people don't follow that. So his people may not have even known that when he said it, but it's not how it works. The Greenlanders, if they agree, could actually become Americans. This could happen. I do not think this is going to happen at all. Greenlanders are similar in a way to, if you think about America and Puerto Rico. Greenland is similar to Denmark in that regard. A chunk of the population, there's only about 50,000 of them, a chunk of them want to stay independent, didn't want to go out to Denmark, and a chunk want to stay under Denmark. There's no chunk that wants to be American. Like, that's not a thing in Greenland, right? So they would have to somehow create, and they would somehow create a movement of Greenlanders who want to become American, and then somehow have them vote in the plebiscite to be American, then have America accept them as a territory, and then have them apply to become a state. So could that happen? Yes, it could happen. Is that going to happen? No, I don't see that at all. I don't care how much money Trump gives them. I mean, unless Trump literally, and again, if anyone could do it, it's Trump. If it could be done. If he literally bribed them, like said, there's 50,000 a year. I'll just print some more money. I'll give each of you, like, I don't know, how's 20 grand? And we'll just call it a day. I'll give each of you 20 grand and you'll vote yes on America. If anybody were to do some shit like that, it's Trump. So that would be a possibility. Again, I know I'm just giving you the realistic issues and how this whole Greenland thing actually would work. He would have to literally bribe every Greenland. Well, again, there's only 50,000 of them, so you could do it. I mean, we just print more money. We want to buy Greenland. Let's print, like, I don't know, another trillion or whatever it costs, whatever we think Greenland costs. Write them all a check. They go, wait a minute. So if I vote yes, you get a check? Yeah, vote yes, you'll get a check. Done. They all vote yes. They get a check. And you need, what, 50,000 of them? So I guess probably 40,000 are adults is my guess in that area. So you need like 25,000 of them to vote yes. So you get 25,000 to vote yes, and you give them all the check at the end of it, right? Done deal. You vote yes, you'll get a check. Done. And then we get server farms and the whole deal. Denmark will say yes. If because of the deal they have, if the Greenlanders say they want to leave, Denmark will say yes. They don't have a choice. It's by their constitution, they will say yes. That was the agreement they made when Greenland came back. There's 3 parts of Denmark: Greenland, some island of the name. There's some island part, I forgot what it's called, and then Denmark, 3 parts. And that's what makes up Denmark. So it costs their constitution, Greenland can just say we're leaving. So that actually could happen. All right, I went a bit long on that, I did. But so why does all this matter? Because this now becomes, and this is an important piece that people aren't seeing, this now becomes a negotiating piece, believe it or not, I think I think I'm crazy, for Ukraine. Thank you, Michael. Yes, the Faroe Islands. I'd forgotten the name of the islands. Thank you. That's the name of the island, Faroe Islands. Yes, Faroe Islands, Greenland, and Denmark. Thank you. Those are the 3. Thank you for that. This is now a negotiating piece for Ukraine. Yes. Say, wait a minute. For Ukraine? Yes. As I've told you, to end that Ukraine war, Putin has to get what he will consider a win to go back to Russia and say, I have won. See, look how I beat Ukraine, or I won, or whatever. He can't go back with a loss. So he's going to go back with a win, right? Trump has to come back with a win. This is another thing to negotiate with Putin with. You want me to take Greenland? You want me to not? You want me to bribe these guys? You want me to fight these guys? How about you say you push me out of Greenland? All that stuff could work. So now Putin go back and what if Trump goes, you know what, keep Greenland. And then Putin goes back to people and goes, push Trump out of Greenland. I'm so cool. And his people go, yay, oh, you beat Trump, yay. And Trump didn't care anyway. He goes, okay, keep Greenland, walks away. So all these types of things that he's doing could be used as bargaining tools and chips. Not just that. Could he make a deal with Putin for, I'm not joking again, for some deal on what kind of path you make through the northern sectors, through the Arctic, an Arctic passage? Do you make that? Some deal for that? Why would you? Because now we go to Panama. Panama matters too. Why does Panama matter? Because the Panama Canal is also a disaster. I'm sorry, I hope I gave you guys enough when it came to Greenland, right? It could happen. I don't see it happening. But if anybody could, it's Trump. And the way you do it is you literally just bribe the people of Greenland. That's how you do it. You don't buy it from Denmark. That's not a thing. And I'm sure his people will tell him that. I mean, if I know that, they know that, right? So someone in his cabinet has figured this out, right? And he's gonna be like, is he wants to buy this thing? Okay. You have to run them all check. So money print to go burr, run them all check. Then it could be done. Any case, this now goes along with Panama. Why Panama? Okay. Panama matters. If I can pull this one up too, if I could. Hold on. Panama matters because the Panama Canal is a disaster. Now, the idea is, oh, hold on. Mike says Denmark sold the U.S. the Virgin Islands. That's true. Remember, Greenland's different because of the specific thing Greenland did, Mike. And I don't know if you were here for that. Denmark used to be a colonizing power. It owned islands in the Caribbean, which it sold to America. It did own Greenland. So America tried to buy it, I think in 46, 47, I forgot when it was, in the 40s. And Denmark said no, but they could buy it then. They owned the Faroe Islands. They could sell them. Greenland left and then said, Dad, can I come back home? And came back. And when Greenland came back, they made a special deal in their constitution they're no longer owned. That's why they could sell us the Virgin Islands, but they cannot sell us Greenland because they don't own Greenland. That's the distinction between the two. So yes, you are correct with the Virgin Islands. It's accurate. And they could have sold us the Faroe Islands, but not that. Just so you're clear on that one. Panama. Panama is a disaster. We invaded there in 1989, I think, 88, 89, late 80s. I know I was a Marine at the time. And to try to fix things, and well, see how well that worked. But we were a major contributor to building the Panama Canal. That's true. We lost lots of people doing it, but it was a major construction. It was done under the Teddy Roosevelt timeframe, right? But after that, now Panama Canal is a disaster. To get to the Panama Canal, sometimes the wait time is up to 3 weeks. Depends upon how bad it is. Droughts affect the Panama Canal. There's no tomorrow. All kind of issues the Panama Canal. And it's been that way for a while, and it's been getting worse. So not just that. The docking fees, or not docking fees, lock fees. The lock fees have gone up. I mean, they're over six figures. They've gone up 6, 7, 8 times in like the past 20 years. They've just massively gone up. The fees have gone up. So you're getting higher fees, less service. There's supposed to be like 35, something like that, 35 ships supposed to go through every day. Sometimes like 15 go through. Remember that story from a couple years back when like one of the ships got caught, screwed everything up? Disaster. Makes everything horrible. So what are you going to do? You're going to go all the way around? You could. That's one option. You can. You go all the way around. That's going to add at least another, couple weeks to your travel, couple days to your travel. Each day is 20, 30 grand in fuel. I'm not joking. So every day is that amount of money in fuel. What a disaster, right? All that kind of terrible stuff. And they don't want to. So what has happened? Believe it or not, Mexico and Nicaragua said, what if we had a canal? Why don't we make a canal? And then we could get all that money from Panama and screw the Panamanians over. Let's do that. And then they said, wait, that's hard. And we don't have American money or Teddy Roosevelt do that. So what did they do? Well, they built, I'm not joking, they literally built a railroad. Hold on, let me see if I can show you a piece of that. This is a picture of some of them. A picture of these railroads they started building that cross. And the best part is, who do you think bought and made those railroads? You guessed it, China. Those areas, Russia, this is up the top piece, if you said piece here, that's actually Mexico. I think this is Nicaragua, and maybe this is Honduras, or the reverse. I forgot which one was which. And this right here, by the way, is now Colombia and Venezuela trying to build the same thing. They haven't done it yet, but they're in the process of doing it. They're trying to build these things. So, of course, all of a sudden now people are like, oh, why don't we build these things? Let's try this instead. Well, here's the problem. China is buying all of this. I'm not joking. Right now, the Panama Canal is run by 2 Hong Kong companies. So is it China? Yes, but they don't say that. They call it a Hong Kong company. So officially, Hong Kong companies own the 2 major ports on both sides of the Panama Canal. So who's getting those fees? Who's running it? Hong Kong. What happens when Hong Kong says, or the China says, I think the canal's broken? You know who uses most of the Panama Canal? America, 40%. 40% of all traffic on the Panama Canal is American traffic. It's also the way that for most of us, we get our ships, our military ships back and forth to that area also. Yeah. So we are very concerned about the Panama Canal. Very concerned. So this is why, and the Chinese are buying all of these. The Chinese are either part owners or physically building every one of those rail lines that you see on the screen. They're either part owners or physically building or a combination of all of those. So now America's like, wait, this ain't going good for me. The Chinese going to own all this? Huh. How can I get around this? Oh, wait, I could just buy Greenland and then I have an Arctic passage and then I don't require this anymore. As global warming, I know somebody's got triggered by me saying that, but it's still true. The ice is melting. That's true. Whether you think it's man-made or not, I'm not going to fight on that piece. You decide what you want. I don't care. The point is that the ice is melting. It is. And there's going to be a Northwest Passage over Canada and over the Arctic in general. I may not need that Panama Canal so much anymore. Or even better, what if I own that one and then I buy the Panama Canal? Well, now I own everything. And now China doesn't own it. I do. Now I do. Now here's the problem China's having right now. China is nowhere near as good at colonizing as we are. We're basically Western European. We are really good at colonizing. Like it's kind of our thing, right? It's kind of our thing. So we're good at it. I'm just saying, we're good at it. It's kind of our thing. So China doesn't know how to colonize well. So China said, we're going to build these things. You see it in Africa right now. The most recent one's in Mozambique. So the Chinese build these things for the Africans, and the African governments go, yeah, that's great. We can't afford to pay you anymore. We're taking it. The Chinese go, no, you can't do that. The contract, they just laughed. Contract, that's funny. You contract, that's good. You guys have to go. We don't want to go. Well, then we're going to kill you. Oh, we better go. Yeah, you better go. Oh, we're going to kill you. That's what they've been doing in Africa now. The Chinese are realizing that. Like, oh, this ain't working. They don't do it to Americans. Because if you do it to Americans, we go, no, we're taking it. No, you're not. No, we will bomb you and our CIA will take over your government. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. You can have it. Just kidding. Just kidding, America. We've always loved you. Just kidding. That's how America does it. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying when it comes to colonizing, China, you can't mess with us on this. This is our thing. You can't mess with us on this. We got you. So they're having a problem already. So now China's saying, well, we'll come here instead, right? We'll build here because this isn't Africa. This is Central America. Way different. We'll be okay. And so far, they're kind of okay. It's actually working. The Chinese are right. This is actually working right now. We don't like that. We don't like that. So now we're considering buying off the Panama Canal. Now, would we use physical force in Greenland? Would we actually land troops and Marines or whatever in Greenland? I don't think that's true. I think that will not happen for several reasons. One, Denmark is a NATO country. We'd be attacking Danish sovereignty. I don't see that. So I don't think it's doing it. Plus, why would you? The ability or the chance to conquer and hold on to Greenland would cost so much. 50,000 people who are all sporadically around and have a lot of self-determination, not worth it. We would just bribe them. So if we were going to somehow conquer Greenland, if that was going to be a thing, we would not use physical force at all. We would just bribe them. Panama. Would we invade Panama? Yes, we would. Say truth. Yes, America would. We've done it before. We'd do it again. So yes. Is there a chance that we will use physical force in Panama? Yes, there's actually a chance. No chance in Greenland. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to use physical force. We'll just bribe them and we'll just raise the money until they say yes. If it was going to happen. Again, I don't think it's going to happen. What I think is going to happen is several fold. Let me do Greenland and Panama. What's going to happen in Greenland is because of the pressure we put on them and the threats we have to the Danes are going to push the Greenlanders into giving us very good terms in getting their stuff, and they're going to become anti-Chinese. That's the actual answer. The real outcome of this posturing on Greenland is to get the Greenlanders to give us a good deal on the stuff we need, shipping lanes, access to this, access to that, and to box out the Chinese. That's the issue. The Chinese don't have the same way of thinking as we do. Again, when it comes to colonizing, they're just not as good as we are. I know Christine's joking. She's teasing me here. Hold on. She goes, we're number one. We're number. It's true. We are. It's what we do, right? So we know how to do that. The Greenlanders will acquiesce to us. They haven't for the Chinese already. Like the Chinese have been trying to do this literally for years. It has not worked well for them. They got a little bit here or there, but they haven't dominated. They've dominated in Africa. They have not dominated in Greenland. That's the goal. I think at the end of this, or this 3 or 6 months from now, whatever the time frame is, I think if Trump's team does this well, he literally sent Don Jr. to Greenland. I'm not joking. He sent Don Jr. to Greenland. If he gets Don Jr. to go to Greenland and they do this right, what will happen is Greenland will give us very good deals on what we want in Greenland, and they will box out China. That's the actual goal. In addition, Trump can back off and say, I gave this up when negotiating with Putin, so Putin can go back and say, I scared him, right? I scared Trump off, and I'm tough guy Putin, which is what he wants to do. He'll do that, and he'll be fine. This is what I think is going to wind up happening 36 months from now. That's my gut. Is it possible that we bribed Greenlanders into becoming American? Physically possible? No thanks. Don't think it's going to work. Don't think it. But that's it. Now, Panama. Would we invade Panama? Yes. Yes. 100%. Ryan says, Larry, the Chinese are rookies when it comes to colonizing. They need to leave colonizing to the pros, us. It's true. It's true. They can't mess with us. They can't. It's true. So anyway, so in this case, what I think is going to happen is the U.S. is going to try its best to scare off all these people from working with Chinese again. I think this is an anti-Chinese move. That's what I think it actually is. And the reality of it is they recognize that America would invade Panama and take the canal. Literally, they would land Marines. That would happen. Marines would land and take it. And then all that Chinese stuff is now American stuff. And are China's going to go to war over that? No, they won't. Why? It's not officially Chinese land. Officially, this is the part that people don't realize, again, this officially matters. The land isn't Chinese. These are companies that have bought a lease to run this area, and they're officially from Hong Kong, legally Hong Kong, not officially the Chinese government. It's the Hong Kong government, that two systems, one country bullshit they made in 1997. That's when they did this, 97, 99. So officially, it's like somehow not China. What does that mean? They just take it, say, hey, Hong Kong, here's some cash to pay out your contract. Have a nice day. You're gone. There's no war. They could just take it, pay off the Hong Kong company, and it's American. That's why America might actually invade Panama. That could happen because you could get around it. You wouldn't go to war with China. That would happen. What would that do? That would scare the Chinese from all the other things you see here, from them buying those things. That would scare them off. They'd be like, what? Wait a minute. What? Yeah. So again, this is a play against China in Panama Canal. That's what Panama is actually all about. So could we buy it? Maybe. But why would we want to buy it? For several reasons. One, it's broken badly, as I mentioned. They are multiplying the fees, which are now 6 figures for one boat. One ship comes through, it's 100 grand, 150 grand, 200 grand for one ship. That's a lot of goddamn money. And I got to wait if something goes wrong. So America's going to either, and no one's fixing it because no one can afford it. Panamanians can't afford it. Chinese aren't going to fix it. China's going to fix it so the Panamanians can keep it? No. America's going to fix it so Panamanians can fix it? No. Would America actually, would America actually decide, well, we'll fix it if we own it? Yes. Yes. Would would a Halliburton buy it and say, hey, we'll buy it, fix it, and then we'll charge whatever we want and make tons of money? Yes. Of course that would happen. So, yes. And here's the best part. The second largest user of the Panama Canal, first is us, America, about 40%. The second largest one, is China. So now if we're going to go into a trade war with China, we control the Panama Canal. There we go. And then White Liberty says, wow, Space Force is a base. They do. I forgot. Pick a something. Pick a, I forgot what it's called. Pick a something. Pick a bee, something like that. And it used to be Thule, or Thule, not Thule. It's written Thule, but pronounced Thule. It used to be Thule before there was Space Force. I think it was a Air Force Base, Thule, and then became a Space Force base, changed the name. There we go. Piafuk. There we go. That's what it is. There we go. Piafuk. So yeah, I knew it was something like that. but that's accurate. They changed it. It used to be an Air Force base. Then when Trump made Space Force, it became a Space Force base. So that's correct. So any case, so if we took it now, a trade war with China, they're the second largest user of the Panama Canal. All of a sudden, American ships that go through, well, it's free. And Chinese, well, it's expensive. Trade war value. That's the value of Panama. The trade war is the key with Panama. And of course, then understand the canal itself. So yes, I just want to make sure that was clear so you understand. It's not just nuts. Like there's stuff behind this, right? It's not just he's crazy. No, there's some real stuff going on. Guys, if you like what I'm saying, then do me a favor. Click the button known as like. I ask you all the time, please click it. How do I know that it's going to work? Because if you click that button, then Mr. Rhythm, first name Al, middle name Gore, last name Rhythm, he says, oh, I like this, so it must be good, and shows it to other people because you click that button. Please do so. If you have not shared this into another Facebook group, on your YouTube page, on X, or reposted it on X, why do you hate me? That's the only answer. It's because you hate me. So don't do that. Please don't hate me. Please share it. It is important. If you're not subscribed already, please do so. Subscribe and follow me. It does matter. If you want to super chat me, it goes right to the front. Super chat me on YouTube. You can rant me on Rumble, either one. I'm on Rumble also. Please do either one of those. It does not matter. You pick. But whenever you subscribe, please make sure you click all notifications on Sharpe. As I've been asking you, please, if you can, if you're watching me on YouTube or Facebook or X, and you watch me on any of those three, not Rumble, not Getters, fine, keep those away. No worries, keep watching me there. But if you watch me on YouTube, Facebook, or X, please shift over to Sharpe. I have 2 pages on each. I have a Larry Sharpe and a Sharpe. Please watch me on Sharpe, because starting either Friday or Saturday, the live will only be on Sharpe. And then I will repost it the day after, on Larry Sharpe. So if you want the live, you're going to have to watch on Sharpe. If you just love seeing my very handsome face and me reading these things, you can just watch the day after on Larry Sharpe. No worries, whichever you prefer. All good, but just so you understand how it's working, if you don't mind. Now, last time I'm going to bring this up, my good friend Maj Toure is trying his best to get his Solutionary Center in Philadelphia built. I'm sorry, not built, bought. He's trying to buy the building. Buy the building so that he can make it free for everybody here. Head over to givesendgo.com/solutionary. Give what you can give. $10 is fine. $20 is fine. Whatever you got. If you got 100, if you're rich, you got $200 because you're rich. I hope you're rich. Give him $200. I hope you got so much money you can give $1,000. I hope you're that rich. I hope you're all that rich. You can give that money away. If you could, please do so. Whatever you can give, please do that. Every bit counts. He's trying to buy the building. Please put in the memo Larry sent me so he knows it came from my people. I would appreciate if you can support him. I won't bug you again about this. But this is the last day that he's running it. If you can help out, it would be amazing. Thank you so much for what you guys are doing. Anyway, that's about community all the time. This is community. He is making communities help out other communities. Yes, that's what it's about. His community helping out. This is in his own community in the urban areas of Philadelphia. Free so people can learn how they want to learn. Yes, 100%. So anyway, I hope that part was clear. The last piece I want to bring up then, if I could, is Canada. And I have a picture I want to show you of Canada, which I think is valuable too, if I can. All right. Why does Canada matter, right? Well, many reasons why Canada matters, right? But the thing that they're trying to talk to you about, of course, is that same concept. Hold on, see if I can find this here. This is the Canada piece. All right. Picture Canada, same idea. This area here from Barrow all the way across here, this is a northern passageway. As the ice begins to melt, and as we buy more icebreakers, sadly diesel and not freaking nuclear, now all of a sudden coming from New York, you can head all the way across from New York and into East Asia, from the East Coast into East Asia over Canada. Now again, NATO, I get it. But then what if Canada wants to start charging? What if Canada doesn't want to start charging? This is all Canadian land. If this area up here, this is Greenland. So now what do I have? I have Danish land. Danish territory, not land. Sorry, territory. Remember, 200 miles outside of your land is still considered your territory in the water. So I have Danish and I have Canadian waters as I'm moving through here. Well, what if they decide to charge me or tell me no or stop me or whatever? What's the problem? I don't like that. I don't like that. Or go all the way around here. I don't like that either. I want to go right through here. Or I'm going to cross the Arctic. I want to go into Western Europe from California, pop on over, head to Western Europe. I'm cutting 20, 30% of my time gone. Don't need Panama Canal. Don't care what the Chinese do. Now the Chinese are screwed. Don't need the Suez Canal. Don't need the Gulf of Aden. Don't need any of that. I'm good. I don't need any of that. I am good. This cuts all of that out. I've just screwed the Egyptians, the Saudis, the Houthis, the Panamanians, the Chinese. I screwed them all over. That's why Canada matters when it comes to this one. That's the first reason why Canada matters. But there's more. On top of that, who is our number one supplier of energy in America? Canada. Number one. And right now, pretty cheap. But Trudeau's gone now, isn't he? Trudeau is just giving shit away. Well, that's Trudeau. Now, was it good for Trump to have Trudeau, kind of just collapse? Yeah, emotionally it was. See, we got him. But there's the other part, though. If the more conservative party comes in control of Canada, which will probably happen, if that happens, they may say, you know what, we like to keep some energy with us. We're going to keep it. And we're going to start building our own facilities here. We're not going to ship it to you to process. I'm sorry, Canadian, process. We're not going to send it to you to process. We're going to process, my Canadian accent, about here, about. Is that right? They do Canadian, anyway, whatever. We're going to process it here in Canada, not in America. And we're going to charge you more. And that's going to happen. Blah. They might do that. Well, not if Trump is playing hardball. Not just that. They've been talking, Trump's teasing the Canadians about them spending money on their military. He's not wrong. Canadians have not been doing their job when it comes to NATO. And boy, does Trump have it out for NATO people who don't spend the cash. He does not like that at all. Pressure on them for that too. Not just that. He wants to make sure that Canada is going to be anti-China. And he wants to make sure that Canada is going to keep and help America in the Arctic with U.S. forces, military, icebreakers, the whole deal. He wants to make sure that happens. So as it sounds a bit crazy, I know it does. I do not think that we are going to take over Canada. I don't see that happening. But is this enough to put pressure on Canada, enough to make them upset and worried that we can do economic against them? Because right now, Canada's in trouble. If you know Canada at all, it's really in trouble. Its housing market's worse than ours. Its GDP is worse than ours. Its per capita, everything is worse than ours. That's why Trudeau stepped down. Canada's in trouble. Well, of course, Trump saw that and went, oh, you're in trouble? Squeeze. That's what he's doing. He's squeezing them. Kind of cruel, but I think might actually work. He may squeeze. If you hear the guy who looks like he's going to win right now, he is being very, very nice about Trump. He's like, well, Trump is this. P says, how much for Canada? All right. Well, let me walk down the Panama Canal Road and the Canada. Because I walked down the Greenland Road. I'll walk down both. Could we just buy the Panama Canal? Yes. Just buy it for whatever amount we want. We'd make it kind of seem real, and we would just force the government to say yes, or we'd invade. I know it sounds horrible, but I'm just being forward. We'd basically just use gunboat diplomacy in Panama and say, we think it's worth whatever the number, whatever, $200 million. I don't know. I have no idea what it's worth, but I'm making that number up, whatever, $1 billion. Money printer go burr. We buy Greenland, and then we go to the Panama Canal and say, we're going to buy the Panama Canal. We say it's worth whatever, $10 billion. I have no idea what it's worth. I'm totally making the number up. $10 billion is what it's worth. Here's $10 billion. We just made the money up. It's ours now. Oh, no? Do you want us to invade? Oh, you said yes? I thought you did. Done. We own it. Now, the reality of it is, why did we give it away in the first place? We gave it for several reasons. One of them is a real reason, though, which was it was very expensive and hard to maintain. Why? The local population didn't like the fact that America owned it. They didn't like it. So there's problems, issues, concerns over that, obviously. So that. And two, we had just got out of the Vietnam War. And boy, were we broke. And boy, was stuff bad. We were like, why are we spending money on a stupid canal? Get rid of it. Now, Trump thinks that was an error. He may be right. I mean, strategically. Ethically, it's kind of not our country. But I'm just saying, strictly on cash and that stuff, Trump may be right on that one. So in that regard, we would just buy it, probably get extra land, bribe them to be happy is what we do, and make some kind of deal, and we'd control the Panama Canal. It could be done. I don't know if it will be done. Of all the things that could be done, whether purchasing Greenland or Panama Canal, in my view, the most likely, which is still not very likely, is Panama Canal. If that's going to happen. If any of them happen, I don't think any of them will happen. But if any of those three happen, it'll be Panama Canal. That's my gut. Easiest to do. Greenland could be done, but it takes time and a lot of money. It takes time too, which is the worst part. And you got to openly bribe people, right? You got to openly bribe them. Buying it from the government is less bad. Does that work? Is less bad than bribing people. It's less bad. So we would just buy the Panama Canal and just control it, and then fix it, right? Because it's broken horribly. We'd fix the Panama Canal. Meanwhile, trying to work on the Northwest Passage. Meanwhile, scaring off the other rail lines or owning them, and having everybody else become anti-Chinese. If the Honduras and Nicaraguans see how we just took the Panama Canal and we tell them, don't let the Chinese buy your rail, they will go, okay. Again, when it comes to colonizing, that's our thing. Gunboat diplomacy, we literally invented it. Like, we literally invented gunboat diplomacy. Americans, that's not even Western European. That's just us. Gunboat diplomacy was invented by us. Americans invented that shit. So, yeah, they would do it. That's sadly how that would work. Now let me go to Canada. I don't see a way that we would somehow annex Canada. My assumption would be that here's the issue. Canada is actually still a part officially of the British Commonwealth. Every country has a head of state and a head of government. Now, the advantage of America is ours is put together. Our president is both head of state and head of government, right? But most countries have two separate ones. Often a president is often head of the state who represents the people, often voted by the people, and a prime minister is the head of government, usually elected by their parliament or by their Congress. So he's the head of government. So two separate pieces. In the case of the United Kingdom, or if you have a monarchy, Japan as an example, the emperor is the head of state, representing the people, and then the prime minister, that's why they don't have a president, is represented by the people, the government, and is elected by it's called the Diet in Japan. Same thing in the UK. They have a prime minister elected by the parliament, and then they have a king, that's the head of state. So what would happen in this case? Well, the head of state is the King of England. The head of government is their prime minister. So their government would have to, legally, take a vote and agree to join America, and then petition the head of state, the King of England, for him to agree. That would have to happen. I don't know how that happens. Like, I don't know. I don't see any way of that happening. So that's why I think the Canada thing is all just trolling to ensure that the new incoming government is pro-Trump and assists where we want them to assist, which is becoming anti-Chinese and helping us in the Arctic. That's what I see. And last thing, of course, and increasing military spending. So I think that's what it's about. I do not think that there's a realistic way of them doing that. I can't imagine. I don't see how they would do it. And if they did do it, each province would be a state, right? Canada wouldn't be a state. Each province would be a state because they already break it up into provinces. So they have provincial governments. So each province, so we'd gain 10 more states and 3 territories. I found that out. I thought they were all provinces. I found that out recently that those 3 provinces weren't provinces, they were territories. So we gained 3 territories and 10 states. Now you might think, well, Larry, they'll all be lefties. No, it's not true. the center part, just like America, the center parts of Canada are very conservative. So like Manitoba, Alberta, Saskatchewan, they'd probably be more right-leaning. I don't know about British Columbia. I would assume because Vancouver is so big, it would be more left-leaning. But anyway, there would be a mix of those two, right? There'd be some kind of mix. We wouldn't get all like 10 lefty states. We'd probably get, I'm guessing, 6 left, 4 right is my assumption, maybe 5 and 5. And then if we let any territories in, territories would be right-leaning because they're all like wilderness territories, Yukon, Northwest, and Nunavut, Nunavut. I forgot the other one. That's where the Inuits are. I forgot that one, but it's 3 of them. So yeah, so there's 3 in the north. They're all territories. Those 3 would wind up being would probably wind up being more right-leaning. So you'd make a deal like we made back when it was slave states. I know, sounds horrible, but that's what we would do. You know, we would just do it, right? I mean, I know it sounds horrible. We do it. We're like, well, I can't take Canada unless we got to get like 5 and 6, whatever. So we get probably get like 6 right-leaning states and 6 left-leaning states out of the whole deal. Probably they would probably do that, something like that, if it were to happen. Now, again, I don't see a way of it. There is a way for it to happen, as I mentioned. There is a process. I'm sorry, Canadian. There is a process for that. Sorry, for that to happen. It could work. It's just not gonna. I don't see them doing it. It would have to be a situation where Canada was literally about to go under. And that will be done. That's a way. If Canada gets so screwed that's going to go under, then that could happen in theory. Because the UK cannot bail it out. The UK is broken. Right? In the old days, UK would bail it out. But they would not do it in this case. Right? In this case, they could do it. UK can't bail itself out. So there's no way it could bail them out. If that were to happen, where we just crash completely, maybe, I mean, if we just went money print to go burr. But the advantage is all Canadian dollars would become American dollars. So that would help. And we'd gain about 40 million people and a little bit of GDP. So, and we'd gain all of the Arctic. So there is an advantage to America. Trump saying how powerful it would be, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's right. It would be amazing for America if we were to actually have Canada. That's true. We gained 40 million people, give or take. We would gain probably, I'm assuming we'd make 12 states just to go 6 and 6 because there's no way the Senate would accept it. The Senate wouldn't ratify it unless it was 6 and 6. They just wouldn't do it. We would do one of the same slave, non-slave state thing. That's our history. We just do it again. We would do that. And that's what would happen if it were to happen. I don't see it happening. Again, I don't see it happening, but that would be the way it would happen. And lots of natural resources, tons of it. We would be making so much damn energy. Oh my God, so much energy. And the best part is, if we were okay with it, the whole idea I spoke about in Greenland with those server farms all over Canada. All over Canada. So many server farms. And a lot of great hockey players. I mean, there's always that. Ton of great hockey players. We would win like every hockey Olympics forever. Like we win we gold medal hockey every year. So there's some good things. So yes. So I think I covered Canada and I think I covered everything. I covered all 3 of them, right? I did. I wanted to cover them all. So you guys got them in. Let me grab some more of these if I could. Ryan, new member. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. Peace. Thank you for $2. Does geography determine left or right? Often, yes. But not geography, urbanization. Urbanization usually determines left and right. And left and right also is relative, right? So if you look at someone who's in, say, New York State and in a rural area, that person's probably right. But that person probably isn't as right as, say, a rural person, say, Oklahoma. So the area also matters, is relative, right? It is relative. So, and the left, Oklahoma, Tulsa, there's a lot of blue people in Tulsa. But are they as blue as New York City? Probably not. But they're blue. So yes, it does to a certain extent. And of course, I'm talking overall, obviously not everything, but overall as a whole. All righty. Let me see if I can grab some of these comments. I think I covered everything. I want to make sure I did cover everything here. All right. Let me grab the comments. I know I haven't done comments. I wanted to cover this piece, so I apologize. I may be behind on comments, but I'll try to get through them if I can. And I will try to focus if I can on members first. P says, let's go more land. Look, again, the idea of more land is not necessarily a great thing to be forward. For most people, for most countries, land is only valuable if there's resources on it, which in Canada there is, Greenland there is, or there's intellectual property on it, like Hollywood or Silicon Valley. That's when they're valuable. So yes. Mike Voss in the house. So I looked into Greenland. Thought it was just hype. I knew it wasn't. This one I had you, Mike. Usually you're ahead of the curve on me. This one I had you. Nope. Old news from 2019. Trump said same then, and no one cared. It's about rare earth materials. Media's fear mongering. Trump running with it for a deal. I don't think he's gonna make the deal. I don't. Again, legally there are issues, as I mentioned. He has to go through certain things that can happen. But yes, this one I knew. I knew already this was a thing. I knew how important Greenland was from my study of World War II. That's how I even got into it. My study of World War II is how I figured that one out. So yes. All righty. Stone Mark Studio Production says, do you think we will see them abolish the Electoral College for the popular vote if Canada, Greenland, etc. become states? Sticking with Canada and concerning is a Dem stranglehold due to our system. First off, to be forward, I do not think that Greenland or Canada is going to happen. If Greenland comes over, I don't think it's obvious that Greenland will be Republican or Democrat. I don't think it's obvious at all. And of course, how the system works, you don't just go, you're a state. How our Constitution works is they'd be accepted as a territory and will have to apply for statehood. That's how it works in our system. So applying for statehood, they'd make votes and such, and we'd know whether they are, again, relatively left or right. I actually don't know. My gut would tell me they'd be more right-leaning because of what peace logic I was just talking about. They're not very urbanized relative to us, right? And so they're probably going to be more right-leaning. They tend to be more independent because, again, they actually asked for independence and then came back, and then they would come back with strings. So my gut would say Greenland would probably be either a mix, one left, one right, or both right. That would be my gut when it comes to Greenland. But no, that's how it would work. And again, I don't see us taking Canada. I don't see a way. Again, I explained there is a way. There is a legal way of it happening. I can't imagine unless, again, the one thing, there is some horrible crash in Canada. Everything's collapsing. And we decide to put the money printer on and just throw money at them. Maybe. And even that is like, I mean, that's 1 in a million. I don't see it. But Trump is correct in that it would be great for America. I think it'd be a great thing for America if it were to happen. But I mean, it'd be nice if Mexico would just become us or what. I don't know. I mean, lots of nice things would happen. It'd be nice if, I don't know, lots of things would happen. If the EU decided to give us all money or something, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. So no, I don't think that will affect the Electoral College at all. Again, in my thing, I mentioned if it were to happen, we would just make the states come in equally as 6 and 6, and it wouldn't matter. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. Let's see. AC says you didn't remember him saying that. Yeah, he didn't remember that. Yeah, Mike didn't remember. That's fine. That's all good. All right. Let's see here. The AC says that's not true. Conservatives expect to sweep the next election in Canada. I don't think that's for me. Because I was saying I think the conservatives will probably be in charge. So maybe not for me. Rick says, just say the word and I'll get paid Rumble and throw my support to Larry to that platform. YouTube has a lot of content, but the disc content is pushing us hard. It is. Yes, I agree. No, we're not there yet. I appreciate that, but we are not there yet. We're not there. You're not yet. So yes. Straight and over on Rumble. Speaking of Rumble says, not far from Moscow. Yes, that was the part about Greenland that people don't always realize. It's not just the minerals. It is, but it's also the oil, and it's also the Arctic. It's also the passage, and it's also for bombing and being bombed. Correct. There are many reasons why Greenland is valuable. It is very valuable, and we should have bought it back in 1940. I think it was 7. I think 1947 we offered it 100 million. We should have bought it in 1947. It was a mistake to not buy it. We should have bought it. There's no doubt. Whatever the Danes said, we should have said, well, we'll give you more. Or to be forward, after World War II, the Danes were pissed off, by the way. Most people don't know this. We never liberated Denmark. Yes. In our conquest or reconquest of Europe, taking back from the Germans, we never went to Denmark. We just kind of kept going, right? We just kind of kept going. So when the war finally ended, the Germans just walked home. I'm not even joking. They went, oh, did we Hans, get in the bus. We're going back to Germany. War's over. Okay. The Danes like, damn, okay. No one came to them. So the Danes have been mad about that for like 80 years. So they're still pissed. So they're mad about that. So yeah, I think back in 47, we should have squeezed them and said, come on, you guys are broke. Take 110 million. Let's get Greenland. And they couldn't handle it. They gave Greenland away. When Greenland walked away, they said, fine, go. So anyway, let me just keep going. All right. Kim says, Canada is not on board. They want California instead. So let's go that route and cut the problem. Blue bleeding states go to Canada. There we go. Maybe we take a couple of states, and they take a couple hours or whatever. Yeah, it's all good. But yes, no. California is the same size by population as Canada. Population, they're both 40 million. So yeah, it'd be like getting out of California, 100%. So, all righty. And you're right. The Canadians are not on board. That's my point. There would have to be some kind of massive change to where Canadians go, yay, we want to be American. And I mean, how do you bribe 40 million people to become Americans? That's a lot of money printing. Like, man, that money printing is going to break. 50,000 people in Greenland, we could print that money. No problem. That's nothing for us. That's high school. You're talking about nothing. Printing for 40 million people, that's a different game. Totally different game. So yes. Carl says Trump is waiting for Canada to go bankrupt to absorb. That's the point I was saying, right? It would do that, right? It would really take something that horrible. Canada doesn't have an army. Yeah, it does. Canada absolutely has an army. Canada has an army. It actually has a very proud army. Canadians have been in almost every war that we fought. Canada has supported the UK and the British Empire in every war since whenever, since they've been Canadians. Even after they became independent, they still support the Commonwealth and they support the King or the Queen. Canada supported us in Afghanistan. So no, it's just small, but they have an army. It's just small. They have tanks. They have a navy. It's a small one. No carriers, but they actually have one. So yes. Pinkerbell says, what part of it isn't stupid? I explained it all, Pinkerbell. It isn't. Yeah. AC says, as a straight, white, I think you mean straight. Straight, white, middle-aged, soon-to-be rich businessman, the whole thing just to confuse the shit out of me. Well, I hope I was clear. Pete says, 36 trillion, 178 billion, 676 million, $19,215.59 is our debt. And if we go buy Greenland, it'll be more. It'll go even higher. At one point, they don't even care anymore, Pete. Like, oh, we got to buy Greenland? Let's go 37. Let's do it. We got to buy Panama Canal? Let's go 38. This is why what you just put up, Pete, is the reason why I think there is a chance that could happen. Because if it's just cash, we'll just print it. I know you're like, but no, Trump is a Republican. That doesn't mean he won't print cash. They all print cash. Please. The Republican probably won't raise taxes. That's true. They usually don't raise taxes as much as Democrats do. They raise taxes, but they usually don't raise as much as Democrats do. That's true. But they will print up like there is no tomorrow. They will keep printing. That machine will be like, keep printing. So yes, 100%. AC says he was offering to buy Greenland last time. They have lots of minerals and one of, if not the barest U.S. military base in the world. Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure what barest is, but yes, they do have. We talk about that. They do have a military base. They do. But again, it isn't just that. It's also the 200 miles off of the coast. And in fact, they don't care when Chinese and Russian ships float all around there. They do nothing. Right? To the earlier point, it is officially NATO land because it is Danish, so it is NATO land. But they don't do anything. It doesn't matter. They don't do anything at all. So yes. Super Weapon says, I'm curious to know what's the long-term strategy for Panama and Greenland. We don't need Canadians a part of America. They're just too different. Lol, maybe we'll take Quebec. Lol, leave the West. Canadians are actually very similar to Americans in many ways. If we were going to absorb a group of people, Canadians would be the easiest one to absorb. I mean, we absorb migrants from all parts of countries for huge chunks of people. So if we were going to absorb anybody, Canadians would be the easiest to absorb. If we're going to absorb, the easiest. We just got to start saying process and a boot in Surrey. We just got to say that now. Or maybe that'll be like, we'll know where they come from because of that. So, yes. Pickleball says, Alberta is the Texas of Canada. Sure, they can come up with. Yeah, there are some parts that, again, Is a Albertan versus a Texan? Is a Texan more red than an Albertan? Is it Albertan? I don't know if you can call them. I assume so. Probably yes. But relative to Canada, Alberta's red, right? Again, relative to other parts of Canada, 100%. Yes. All righty. If I can grab some more of these. Lunatic, how are you? Does need an instructor for diesel or welding technology? Maybe. It sounds like they do. That'd be kind of cool, right? If you could do that, working on a diesel icebreaker, that's not a bad job, right? It'd be kind of cool. Hanging out in the ice, all that kind of cool stuff. Scary, probably tons of money, probably like hazard pay, probably a lot of cash. Lunatic, maybe it's time for you to start looking about working on some icebreakers. It's a cool thing now. So yes. Pinkabell says, thank you for being a member, Pinkabell. Quebec is too French to be American. Maybe. I've been to Montreal. You can drive there from New York. Like you just drive straight up right to Montreal. I've done it more than once. So you can go to Montreal. It's not bad. Last time I was there, though, a lot of drugs. Last time I was there. I don't know if that's still true, but it was a lot. So Andrew says, I'm late. It's going to be a good episode. I hope I gave you guys a lot of good stuff. Yeah. There we go. Super Weapon says, Montreal people are nice, though. Yes, they are nice. That's true. They were very sweet to me. They were never mean to me at all. They were very good to me. I went there to go meet some young ladies once. So it was very nice. 100%. It was great. Yes. I agree completely. Andrew says, we attempted to invade Quebec in the American Revolution. Didn't go so well going up against the fortified city. Correct. It did fail. We did fail. But I don't think we're there. I don't think we're, again, I see no chance at all of us making some type of military. No, I don't say that against Canada. None. I see zero chance of that. None. NATO member is Canada. No way. I cannot see that. The only way, this is all posturing to get what I talked about. Cheap energy prices. If the Conservatives take over the government in Canada, there is a real chance that they decide, we're not selling you cheap oil. We're keeping it for ourselves, and we're going to process it ourselves and sell it on the market at a higher price point. That's a real fear that Trump has. Trump has been talking about cheap energy for years. That's one of his big deals. And if that happens, that will hurt his cheap energy plans. So that's number one. Number two, he does want to make sure that Canada increases its military spending. That's been a bee in his bonnet. Is that what's called? A hair up his derriere, whatever. And he's all about it. And Canada is not spending. Was it 2%? Or 3% of NATO? 2%, right? Whatever the percentage is, Canada's not paying. I think it's 2% of NATO. He's not paying it. And he also wants to make sure he gets help in the Arctic, because this is the new battleground is the Arctic. That's the new battleground. The Russians knew it before everybody. That's why they have nuclear powered icebreakers, and no one else on the planet has it except them. They knew it before us. Trump just figured that out too. He's like, oh, we got to do this, or his people did, whoever. Somebody figured it out. We got to figure this out. That's why he's talking all this trash. He needs to make sure the Canadians get their head out of their asses and help them in the Arctic, and they got to be anti-China. And why am I worried? Why are they worried about that? Because if Canada gets in financial problems, they may look to China for cheap things. And China, if you don't know this, has already decided to follow our model. I'm not joking. China's handing out stimmy checks. China's economy's not doing well. What are they going to do? I don't know. What do Americans do? They do money printer go burr. Oh, can we do that? Yeah. We have a digital currency. We do. Yeah. We can just make stuff. We make it faster than them. It's just digital. Oh, can we just make more of it and say it's more expensive? Yeah, we're Chinese government. And we just tell people it's worth more. They don't do it, we'll put them in jail. Oh, that's China right now. So the money's worth what I tell you. I don't think so. Do you want to go to jail? No, the money's worth what you told me. That's how the Chinese people work. Done deal. So yeah, that's where that's going. So hope that's clear for you. So John, thank you for the $5, my friend. Appreciate that. I hope I'm giving you some real insight into why these things go the way they go, right? I hope that makes some real insight. Pete says, does this remind you of the last stages of Falling Empire? Yes. Yes. However, let me bring up a part that you may not like about this. Well, you probably don't like most of this. But anyway, The one thing this might actually do, believe it or not, is it might actually increase recruitment. I'm not joking. This might actually give young men purpose. Now you might go, Larry, I thought you wouldn't like people who would join the military. No. I think a draft is terrible. I am 100% against a draft. But if you want to voluntarily give up your rights for the benefits of the military, go ahead. I did. I literally have a brand right here. And you can see. So yes, so who am I to tell you that you shouldn't? Up to you, as long as it's volunteer. I volunteered. You could volunteer if you want to. And there are, as I said to them, about 8 million men who are lost. And what did I tell you literally months ago, maybe even a year ago now? I said those men are looking desperately for a purpose. They might think, I'm going to join up so I can take over Greenland, or I'm going to join up so I can help secure the Panama Canal. If it gets some guy out of his basement and off the computer and into having a life, could be a positive thing, I guess. Could be, as long as we don't actually do the thing, but could be something. So maybe. Robert says the U.S. government has been honoring treaties, just like Native Americans. Also true. Yep. Also true. 100%. So, all righty. Let's see here. AC says, ironically, because the whole Republican Party is afraid of him with good cause, Trump might be the one person with the kind of juice to be able to pull that off. That's my point, AC. This is what I just said is not a high chance, but if anybody can do it, if it is possible, and it may not be possible, but if it's possible, he's the guy. If it's possible, he's the guy. Carl says, one of the Greenland assemblies said they'd be open to an economic union with North America. Yes. I mean, again, that's the piece. Economic union, sure. I think they would do that. The Greenlanders are very independent. You would have to bribe them. And then that's the only way. You'd have to bribe them in some way, shape, or form. That's it. You would have to. So SK says, let him deploy Barron Trump Jr. or Elon's kids if the draft dodger wants to start conflict. I'm with you. Roy says, if Trump were an actual businessman, he could strike a deal rather than talk like a petty dictator. I think he actually would, to be fair with you. As I said, I think he would just spend it. It's not his money, Roy. He don't care. It's not his money. It's just printed money. I'm a big shot with your money, Roy. With your money, I'm the biggest shot there is. It's your money. I'm going to spend it on let's buy everything. Let's buy Greenland, Iceland, buy Norway, buy it all. It's Roy's money. I'm buying it all. Of course. If I got your money, I'm buying everything. You get a new car. You get a new car. All right. You see that? No, it's Roy's money. That's what he's doing. So of course he can do this. It's not his money. Oh, good. Mike says Bitcoin miners, 100%. They would love that. They would love that. Yes. Pina goes on to say, also access to polar maritime routes. Yep. Northwest Passage. Yeah, you guys read my mind when I was saying this stuff. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Yep. All righty. Phil says, not to mention with the server farm, you need cooling. Not when you're in Greenland, you don't. There we go. Absolutely. 100%. Shipping lanes, yep. Have a large prison there. You know what? Think about that. You could, in theory, have a large prison there. It seems kind of cruel, but you wouldn't have to worry about them escaping. Get eaten by a polar bear. True. I guess it's kind of true. Could be that. Yep. AC says, despite our trying to clamp down on it, China just came out with an AI that uses 1/11 as much power. Oh, 1/11th as much power as anything from Google or OpenAI. Oh, I didn't know that. Is that right? Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I got to tell you, we are not doing well when it comes to AI. We are not doing well compared to China. We're not doing well. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad in the long run. I don't know how good AI is going to be. Who knows? But yeah, we're not doing well right now. We're not. It is a problem. So Phil says China wants an icebreaker for northern shipping. Correct. China, and that's again, Phil, you hit it perfectly. This is why I think what he's doing is not a bad thing. I know people think it's silly. I don't. I think it's actually a good way of trying to get the people. Right now, there aren't many countries that make icebreakers. I think the Finns make icebreakers. The Norwegians make icebreakers. Russians, obviously. We do. I think the Canadians do too. That might be it. There aren't that many companies that make icebreakers. That's not a big deal. I mean, more and more now, obviously. So I'm sure the Chinese could make an icebreaker. I guess you could. But technology matters. And the Russians have the best technology for icebreakers. It's not even close. Like, they dominate us. They make the best. And so you want to push these countries into not supporting the Chinese. You've already lost to the Russians, right? And not just that. If you saw the map I showed you, half of the Arctic Circle is Russian, right? So you're going to have to deal with Russians. You're just going to have to. Except maybe you can get the Canadians to just do everything for you. Maybe. But then again, you need more icebreakers. So you got to deal with Russians either way. But if you can keep the Chinese out, it's a smart move. P says, Arctic is where the UFOs are stationed. That's why they got to get them. Isn't that where? Oh, was it? No, that was Antarctica. The movie The Thing, right? Was Antarctica, not the Arctic. It was the opposite. It was Antarctica. So yeah, it's where the aliens landed. And didn't the oh my God, was it Predator? Predator landed in the Arctic too? Or was it Antarctica? See, I don't remember which was north or south. I don't remember. One of the two. So anyway, all righty. Joel says there are many laws. He's over in Rumble that are and regulations, restrictions, oil drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. There were no laws, limitations in the drilling of the Gulf of America. Ooh, I like that. So if we change the name of the Gulf to Gulf of America, drill, baby, drill. Right? No, there's laws. Where? It says right here, Gulf of Mexico. This ain't the Gulf of Mexico. This is the Gulf of America. We can do whatever we want. Not bad. I like that. Not bad. The AC says, I don't understand. Why isn't all shipping nuclear power? Because nuclear power bad. I'm not joking. Because nuclear power bad. Because Americans have been so stupid and so scared of making nuclear power. That's why. Nuclear power bad. That's the reason. Done. Pigaro says, when trade moves, so do pirates. However, yes, but, and here's the but. If you're going to be going along Russian icebreaker routes, you're not going to be a successful pirate. You're not. And the other thing is, pirates are by where their homes are. So a pirate could move, but their home is still far away. So you tell me there's going to be Russian pirates to attack Russian shipping? You could do that. But in Russia, if you're a Russian pirate, you have an accident. Ask Prigozhin, the guy from Wagner Group. Oh, you can't. He had an accident. He's dead. Not how that works in Russia, Pinkerbell. That's not how that works. No. Remember, right now, Russia is basically a mobocracy. You got, everyone's got to eat on the way up. So everybody from Putin all the way down, I got to eat. I got to get something. My beak got to get wet. And you want to be a pirate? You're going to have an accident. That's how that works. So, and some pirates, the Houthis aren't going to move to, I don't know, outside of Iceland. I mean, they could go there if they want to, but I don't know how they're going to get there. They don't have any ships that can go there. They don't have a deep blue sea. They don't have a deep blue fleet. They don't know how they're going to get there. Houthis aren't going to go there. I don't know how to get there. Their rockets can't hit there. So pirates can move, but why would they? And Russian pirates aren't going to do it. Russian pirates might do something in Africa, right? But Russian pirates do anything in Russia. That's not going to happen. And the Chinese aren't going to do it either. Chinese pirates attack like Filipinos. They don't attack Chinese. It's not how it works. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway. All right. Grab some more of this if I could. Okay. Paul says, great topic, Larry. It's a strange time in history. The world completely unstable. Well, the issue is I head back as I always say this. There's always a logic behind this, right? Dismissing these things is what people do, and it's so silly. You don't want to dismiss it. This is based on something real. And there is a way for these things to actually happen. You just have to understand it, right? That's the issue. So Sarah says, Larry, this is why we watch you. Thank you so much for helping us make sense of all of this. It's not that you're telling us what to think about, but providing clear explanations and consequences. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Yes. I'm trying my best to make that happen. I want this to be, valuable. I want this to be important for you guys to watch. So Michael says, knowing Trump, how he'll go and take Greenland by force necessary if all else fails. I don't think he will. A physical invasion of Greenland will be very tough to do and probably not worth it. You would probably spend less money and have happier Greenlanders if you just bribed them. And if you physically took Greenland, you would legally, and there's a difference, you would legally be attacking a NATO ally, right? So you'd be breaking NATO and you'd be going to war with NATO officially. Now, would they actually, who knows what actually happens? So that's why, that to me is a bridge too far. I just don't see it. I think it's a bridge too far, right? That's why I don't think so, Michael. So you just bribe them. And if you bribe them, it'd be legal. You could bribe them. That's a legal thing you could do. You could say, hey, Greenland, why don't you guys do a plebiscite? Say you want to become American. If the plebiscite passes, you become American, I'll write a check to your government to hand out to all your people, 40 grand each. What's that? $2 billion? Is that right? Is my math right? 50,000 times 2,000, whatever. 20 billion, whatever it is. That's the money printed go burr. We don't care. 20 billion, man. We give 100 billion to Ukraine like every other week. Whatever. 100 billion, take it. Make it rain, baby. Make it rain. Done. So, and that would be legal. So if they were, whoa, we're getting 40 grand a pop. Oh, well, yes for that. I'll become American for that. Yeah. But that's the Austin Stripes up. Do it. Right? So they would do that. Denmark, because their constitution goes, okay, bye. Second time you left us, don't come back this time. Right? Bye. And then Greenland would become American. They become a territory, apply for statehood, and then the Senate would have to approve it. Senate or Congress? I actually forgot who approves statehood. I forgot who approves statehood. I think it's the Senate. I forgot. One of them approves the statehood. I forgot which one does. But whichever, then they approve it and done. That's it. So I don't say that at all. I can't imagine that happening. So yes. All right. Pigma goes, okay, but would Greenland's agree to this? Generally speaking, they wouldn't. It would have to be a big check. Because generally speaking, Greenlanders tend to feel either Danish or either independent. Greenlanders don't feel American. So you would have to either open, or you spend a long time, like you literally spend years with the marketing campaign to say, why America's awesome, be more American. I mean, you could spend years doing it if you wanted to and try to convince the people of that. You could. But Trump's only got 4 years. So write him a check. Again, not your money. I'm spending Roy's money. Make it rain. I'm spending Roy's money. I don't care. All good. Roy goes on to say, the fact that Larry knows more about Greenland than the entire Trump administration says much about both Larry and Trump's people. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's good. Big Boy says, imperialism bad, though. Yes. Again, I want to be very clear about that. Thank you for bringing this up, Big Boy. You are correct. I'm not saying this is the ethical or correct thing. I'm telling you what people are thinking and how the system works. This is how the system works and why they care. This is why they use what they use and how they use it. That's the issue. Craig says, so if we take more control of the Panama Canal, will we repeal the Jones Act? Sadly, no. We should repeal the Jones Act no matter what. That's a stupid act. It should have been gone a long time ago. But sadly, no. We'll still keep it. Why would we ever stop it? Why would we ever stop it? Yes, 100%. Just terrible. So Andrew says, why do we live with such a terrible partner? Time for change. Let's get alignment with the EU and other countries, even China. I'm not sure where you're going with that one. Not sure where you're going. P says, yes, bribe 20K. I'm telling you. Yeah. There we go. Oh, Andrew says, time for Canada to invite China for dinner. Yeah, I hope not. That if that happens, Trump's going to go nuts. He's going to go nuts. He would go nuts if that happened. You kidding me? He's going to try to fight. Only Trump can go to China in his eyes. That's it, right? That's it. Mike says, I want no more states, just open territories. It would make passing laws more difficult, amongst other things, such as constitutional amendments and convictions on impeachments. Yeah, but the point would be, would Greenland have to become a state? No. Puerto Rico's not a state. Guam's not a state. U.S. Virgin Islands not a state. You don't have to. They could stay a territory, right? In fact, my gut would tell me, my gut tells they would not become a state because they still want the option to leave again. So I think they would stay a territory. I don't think they'd become a state. They could apply. Now, again, if my crazy thing about Canada would happen, again, that crazy about Canada doing it, then you could easily have them come in as a deal, right? Well, we'll let them come in. If they come in as a Republican state, if we get too many Democrat states, you could do that. I mean, that kind of thing you could work on. That'd be the only way. So, yeah. Lunatic says, Denmark colonized how much of Africa? South Africa. Denmark was not a huge colonizer. Most of their colonies actually came, we've been up from Viking days. Yes. So they were not huge, but they did have colonies, but not huge at all. The Dutch had lots of colonies. Dutch, Portuguese, huge. Yeah, they were definitely a huge piece. So, yes. All righty. So if I can grab some of these here. Lunatic says the Chinese don't need to be boxed in. They own farmland surrounding military installations in the United States. They have placed themselves throughout Mexico. Also true. I think you're right. That's all true. Yes. But again, America can just confiscate the land. It's mine now. Why? Because Patriot Act. It's mine now. That's it. I'll just take it. So, all right. Neil says, Canada here. We saw how much you are in debt. And well, maybe after you pay it off, you can have our number. Maybe for now, we can just be friends in the friend zone. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see the Canadians deciding that they all of a sudden want to be Americans. They would have to be something absolutely crazy if that happened. I don't see it. I don't know. John says, Larry, can we rename Greenland Nextdoria? Oh, I like that. Nextdoria. That's not bad. The land of next door. That's good. And the Panama Canal, Uncle Don's big boat ride. That's not bad. I like both of those. And then it's a big boat ride. That's why you have to pay, because it's a boat ride. I think there's 5 locks, if not mistaken. Is it 5 locks on the Panama Canal? Because it's different elevations, so they have to go like down each one. I think it's 5, if not mistaken. It's actually a pretty big engineering feat. It's a really big deal. People don't realize that. So yes, yeah. Andrew says the Greenlanders would need to be bribed and be allowed to live in mainland U.S. to accept Trump's offer, not like Puerto Rico. That's my point. I think it'd be very much like Puerto Rico. I think if they did it, they'd be like Puerto Rico. Kim says, leave other countries alone. We need peace. Michael says, would America invade Mexico if Mexico continues to build the railroad without Chinese support if Marines take Panama? I don't think so at all. I do not see America invading Mexico. Do I see America maybe a show of force in theory with some kind of stupid strike to attack drug people somehow? Maybe. That's a maybe. I don't see America invading. And remember, there's over 150 million Mexicans, something like that. And they have an army, and they have cartels, and they're proud. Mexicans aren't going to surrender to us. And they're proud, and they're proud of Mexicans. I don't that will be a massive battle. I don't see it at all. So I don't see us invading Canada. I don't see us invading Mexico. I don't see any of that. Any battles that we have would be economic, right? It'll be tariffs and walls and stuff like that. That's what it'll be. It won't be anything else. I don't see anything else. So yes. So Matt at War says the problem with Panama Canal is uses fresh water. They've been a drought. That's a problem, right? The drought has been screwing up forever. Yes. Ryan says 36 trillion plus national debt should make it impossible to buy. My apology to Pete for stepping on his turf. Yes, but again, this is Roy's money. I'm messing with you, Roy. It's Roy's money, so we don't care. We spend it Roy's money. It's all good. Yes, 100%. Absolutely. Robert says there seems to be a real racial slang to this Greenland/Panama ordeal regarding why the U.S. won't use force. I don't think so. I don't see that here. I see it very specific. It's just a whole lot cheaper to buy Greenland. Number one, a whole lot cheaper to buy Greenland. 50,000 people total. So just bribe them. Plus, again, if you're going to invade Greenland, you are invading a NATO country. Panama's not NATO. Whatevs. They don't count. I know it sounds horrible, but I'm just telling you, they don't count. They don't count. Plus, I'm not taking over Panama. I'm taking over the canal. I'm taking over all of Greenland. So a little bit different. Look, I'm not saying none of this is good. This goes back to Pickerbell's point. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm just telling you how people think, right? That's the issue. So yes. Jay Hen says, I wonder if it's feasible to make the entire Panama Canal at sea level and get rid of the locks. I don't think so, but they talked about that many times. I don't think so at all. I think it's impossible. I think it'll work. You aren't creating a fall system where it just basically becomes falls. You've got to make a lock X times. I don't think it can be done. Michael says, I'd abolish Space Force if I was president. I think I'm with you. Yeah. Peter says he wants a land grab to show he can be tough like Putin. Yes and no. I don't think he actually wants a land grab. I think he wants to be tough. I think that's true. I do. I think he wants to be tough. That part I agree. I don't think he actually cares if it's a land grab or not. Sam says, love your show, Larry. Oh, thank you guys. If you love the show, please click the like button. I know I ask you, I bug you. Please do so. Make that click. Share it if you haven't already shared it. Subscribe and follow. All of those things matter. Every little bit counts. It does matter tremendously. It's how Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore, it's how he decides whether or not he's going to show me to other people. It's how we're going to grow. So please keep that going. Yes, absolutely. All right. Neil says, pay off your debts first. Canada, don't date broke dudes. We're not broke. We got tons of money. Just tons of debt. We got tons of money. We got more money than anybody. We got all the money. We also got all the debt, but we got all the money. All of it. Yes, absolutely. Pigaba says, I can't wait for the pissing contest between Trump and, is it pronounced Poilievre? Is that how it's pronounced? Actually, if you've seen the conversations, he's pro-Trump. If he's actually pro-Trump. He wants to have conversations. He wants to have conversations. He's been talking about it. He has not been even like, we can talk. America wants to win. Canada wants to win. Let's have a conversation. He's not mad. He's not. He's like, let's have a conversation. Yeah, he's okay. He's not going crazy. He isn't at all. So yes. All right. It's true. There's even treaties from the 1812 war still in effect regarding Canada. That's true. I forgot which was it. Wasn't it one of the borders they put together? I think that's pretty true. Yeah. So Matt at War says, if we have money for Panama, Greenland, and Canada, why don't we have universal health care? Because then how does that help us bomb people? Right? How does it help us bomb people? Jeez. Get with the program, Matt. Literally, your name is Matt at War, and you didn't figure that one out. How does universal health care help us bomb people? You figure that one out, we'll have universal health care. Figure that one out, we'll have it. Done. How does it help us bomb people? How does the military-industrial complex grow on that? It doesn't. Matt at War, should have known that. That's your fault. That's your fault, Matt. At War. Yep. All right. Let me keep going. Ryan says, Manitoba isn't that conservative. I think Manitoba is, again, relative to the rest of Canada. If that makes any sense. I'm saying it's relative. That's the issue. Relative. Again, let's be clear on that. 40 million people and 46 Democrat or one Republican congresspersons, and 46 of the 50 states will lose one congressperson each. 46 of the 50 states would lose one. Oh, because of the oh, got it. Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I see. We'd have to redistribute to Congress. Ah, interesting point. Yeah, there we go. Good point. I hadn't thought of that. You're right. With redistribute, we'd have to. Yeah, absolutely. Death says, Neil, I know some Canadians and they complain about the healthcare up there all the time. Long wait times and bad service are the main complaints. I hear it all the time. Yeah. Dave says, if Canada became part of the U.S., will Quebec vote for independence? The assumption would be if they're part, again, I don't know how to say, I'm saying what would have to happen, even though I don't think it would happen. If their parliament actually voted to leave the UK, not the UK, the Dominion, the Commonwealth, and to become a part of America, I don't see it, but okay, whatever, they do it, right? They do it. I'm sure Quebec would have to decide if it wanted to be independent or not. I'm sure it would also decide, right? I'm sure it would have to decide. So that would be part of the vote. So Quebec would have to agree to come aboard or not, right? Either one. And if they came aboard, then they'd be a territory and eventually apply for statehood. Whole thing. So yes. So Carl says Larry for governor of Canada. I'm not Canadian, so can't do it. Not Canadian. I appreciate that, but yeah, I can't follow that process about it. Sorry. There's only 3 words I know in Canadian. I know those 3 words. I know about, process, sorry. That's all I know in Canadian. I don't know anything else in Canadian. So I guess there's other words. Oh no, there's another one. A. I know 4 words in Canadian. There we go. That's what I know. I know 4 words in Canadian. There we go. Juan says, $5. Thank you for that. On a cruise ship in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle, and I'm still able to watch Larry Sharpe in my cabin. Life is great. Oh, Juan, have a great vacation. That's great. I appreciate that. I hope you survive the Bermuda Triangle. That'd be awesome. Thank you for the $5, man. I appreciate it. Yes. All right. AC, I totally agree. The deal with Canada, they have a ton of natural resources. Yes, agreed. Yes. Ryan says, if Canada become the 50th state, was Trump trolling Trudeau to mess with him in the Canadian media? And again, to push him, right? To push the Canadians. This is to push them into those things I talked about. It's to shift them into that world. The new conservative government has to come in and work with Trump. The conservative government's happy that Trump was trolling Trudeau. One of the reasons. I mean, there are many, but it was one of the reasons why he decided to step down. Right? I'm sure it was another little. I mean, many things, but I'm sure it was another one. Happy about that. Yes, absolutely. So, all righty. Robert says Greenland will fold themselves into the hypocritical conservatives. Give me my free, along with hundreds of millions of dollars in subsidies. Maybe. I mean, but they wouldn't have to if all of a sudden we wrote them a check for $25,000 each. They might be okay. Maybe. Yeah. People says, yeah, ask Canadians who wants to be American, like 30 of them might say yes across the whole country. I'm agreeing. I don't see Canadian doing. I mean, again, it would have to be something crazy. I was giving you guys, so you know, what the methodology that would have to happen for that to work, right? So ART 15 CD, I think that's what it is. I'm calling you AR. Canada has a very professional army. Yes, 100%. That's what I'm saying. To say that no army is incorrect. I know Trump said that. He's wrong. Canada absolutely has a very proud army. They've been part of Canadian Expeditionary Force all over the place. They've been fantastic allies to us in the battlefields across Afghanistan. 100% yes. Yeah, 100% correct. Yes. Ryan says several Canadian units of Canadian armed forces in both World War I and World War II were highly decorated. Yes, yes, and yes. Even at Canadian army units that fought in France. 100%. Yes. Neil says, hold on. Again, Alberta is the closest thing to right in Canada, but it would be considered left by most states. Yeah, again, as I mentioned, I was going relatively, right? That's the point. I was doing relatively. AR says, of the 3 scenarios, annexing the Panama Canal, Greenland, or Canada, what helps us the most strategically ahead of a war with China? Probably Panama. Probably Panama. Because they are spending lots of time, money, and energy in Panama right now. The trade war will be the war we fight the most. Right now, that would hurt them or harm them or control them the most. They would lose both time, money, energy, and we could then control their trade. Panama Canal, the biggest one. If we're looking at fighting China, biggest one. Canada and Greenland would also help, but also pushes against Russia. China too, but more against Russia. Panama doesn't really affect Russia that much, relatively, not that much. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. Gaming Fix says we can pick up their party system. It's better than our system. So yeah, if we take anything from Canada, let's take that one. Let's do that. I like that. John says, Larry, let's redo the national anthem. Oh, Canada, we love the USA. Oh, Canada, our home that Trump now owns. Oh, there we go. Trump owns it now. Oh, Canada, our Trudeau has flown away. Oh, look at that. That's good. You wrote the whole song. That's awesome. Look at that. I think the Canadians might get mad at that. But would they have to take out that? Now they take our national anthem then. They might have a local one, I guess, too. That'd be kind of worse. Yeah. I like our national anthem, though, so I wouldn't like that. So, any case. All righty. Let's see here if I can keep going down here. Gaming Fix says, this show has been interesting. Oh, I'm happy. Thank you for that. Vivek says, Canada's system is still 2 main parties. Other parties are insignificant, just play spoilers. First past the post either parliamentary or presidential, at least duopoly. Good point. This system is what matters more than the actual parties. Very good. Yeah. Super weapons. You want to go to jail or you want to go home? Alonzo Training Day. Yes, that's literally China. Literally China. Super weapons. More young men need to be watching Fight Club, The Patriot, Pearl Harbor, Troy, and Gladiator. Boost your morale. Oh, look at that. Ryan says, with the addition of Greenland, Canada, and the Panama Canal, we would be the North American Empire. Look at that. The North American Empire. That's not bad. That's not bad. Yes. All right. Carl says there's between 17 and 25% of Canadians who want to become Americans, according to poll. Wow. I would have never thought it was that high. That seems high to me. Got it. Ryan says the pronunciation is a boat, not a boot. No, it's a boot, isn't it? I'm not good at Canadian. I'm not Canadian. I think it's a boot. It's a boat, a boat. I'm sorry. I'm not good. I'm trying to respect Canadians watching. I'm trying to speak a little bit Canadian. I don't know. So anyway, all right. Lunatic says, oh, is that what that is? Thank you. Okay. Didn't know that. I called him AR, but that's fine. So a boat, not a boot. I think it's a boot. I'm just saying it is. Yeah. Jericho, thank you for being a member. Don't know how we would incorporate our healthcare motto and Canada's motto, cluster F. Again, if it happened, we would just figure something out, but I don't, we would just, no way. Yeah. And then Y Liberty says, Larry needs to watch all the seasons of Red Green. I'm not sure what that is. I got to watch that. I got to figure that one out. So guys, I'm going to ask you again, if you could, please click the button known as like. I know I bug you. Please do so if you could. If you want to support my friend, Maj Toure, please head on over there. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. He is shutting down the this coming up here soon because his matching donor is going to support whatever he's going to support. I'm also helping to support too. So if you can go ahead and help him out, remember this is a Philly Solutionary Center. It is local in Philly, community helping community. If you can, it would be great. I appreciate it if you can. Also, please repost this, reshare this. It does matter. Every little bit does count. Please repost it. Please reshare it. I appreciate all your super chats. If you have not become a member yet, you can head over to YouTube, click that join button, $49 per month. Every membership counts. And again, this week, probably by Friday, I'm going to be putting up the request for people to come onto the show. Remember, it's a membership guest show every month. So you get to come on the show and chat with me. If you're a member, you can do so. A member on Ladder Sharpe or Sharpe, either one. But I'm hoping more of you move towards Sharpe Way. But I will still do Ladder Sharpe memberships. You can still do it. It's all good. You can also become a member if you want on Rumble. I'll also reach out to those people also. $49 per month on Rumble. You must click subscribe during a live show. That's the only time during a live show. If you can do that, that's what matters. If you can share this into a Facebook group, if you can share this on Twitter or on YouTube, it's helpful for other people to see it. Shares do matter. It's kind of important. I would hope that you could do that to make it grow to the best of our ability. I'm going to ask you, once this show is done, if you could put in the comments, which would you prefer happen? Would you prefer Greenland? Would you prefer Panama Canal? Would you prefer Canada? Which would you prefer? I hope this was very inspiring and was very interesting for you. And you saw us a little bit behind the scenes. I always try to give you some of the behind the scenes stuff, what people are really thinking, what really matters. I hope it was valuable. I'll be on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Not sure what I'm doing yet. And then Friday or Saturday, I'll be doing my AMA, which will be just on Sharpe Way, YouTube, X, and Facebook. I will see you all very soon.